All right, let's talk about Babylon. Now, I'm not talking about the ancient city with the cool hanging gardens. No, when people use this word today, they're talking about something much bigger and honestly, a lot less fun. Think of Babylon as a system. It's a giant, complicated machine of power, corruption, and control that has been running for centuries. It's the invisible hand that guides society, not always for the better. This system isn't run from one single building or by one person with a funny mustache. It's a network of powerful groups, wealthy elites, and governments that all have one goal: to stay in charge. They want to keep the world running in a way that benefits them, even if it means everyone else gets a raw deal. So, how does this Babylon system work? It's sneaky. It doesn't use giant armies with swords and shields anymore. Instead, it uses ideas. It uses the media. It uses politics. And it uses money to shape how we think and what we believe. It's like a magician doing a trick. While you're busy watching the flashy stuff over here, the real action is happening somewhere else, completely out of sight. The system thrives on confusion and division. It wants us arguing about small things so we don't notice the big things. It's the ultimate distraction, and we're all part of the audience, whether we like it or not. The goal is simple: keep the people distracted and divided, because a united people is the one thing Babylon truly fears. The structure of this system is designed to be confusing on purpose. It's a maze of laws, economic policies, and social rules that seem normal on the surface but are designed to keep the power exactly where it is. It tells you that if you work hard, you'll succeed, but then it designs the game so that only a few can ever really win. It creates problems and then conveniently sells you the solutions, making a profit from the very chaos it started. This isn't a conspiracy theory you find in the weird corners of the internet. It's the operating manual of modern power. It's the reason why things often feel unfair, why the rich get richer, and why regular people feel like they're running on a treadmill, going nowhere fast. This Babylon system isn't just about money or politics. It's about controlling your mind. It wants to tell you who to love, who to hate, who to trust, and who to fear. It sets up the rules of the game and then convinces you that playing by those rules is the only way to live. But the game is rigged. It's a system that feeds on our insecurities, our desires, and our prejudices. It's so deeply embedded in our daily lives that we often don't even see it. We think the choices we make are our own, but many of them have been carefully curated for us. Understanding Babylon is the first step to seeing the world for what it really is, not just what it pretends to be. One of Babylon's oldest and most effective tools is racism. Now, you might think racism is just about ignorant people being mean. But it's so much more calculated than that. Racism wasn't born from simple dislike, it was designed. It was created by powerful groups as a brilliant and terrible strategy for control. Think about it. How do you control a massive population of people who might otherwise team up against you? You give them a reason to hate each other. You create a hierarchy. You tell one group they are superior and another group they are inferior based on something as random and meaningless as the color of their skin. It's a genius plan if you're evil. This manufactured division was a masterstroke for the people in power. During colonial times, for example, a small number of rulers needed to control vast populations. They couldn't do it with force alone, so they created racial categories. They used pseudoscience and propaganda to prove that certain people were naturally better than others. This justified slavery, it justified conquest, and most importantly, it prevented the oppressed from uniting. If the poor white farmer was taught to despise the enslaved black person, they would never realize they had a common enemy: the wealthy landowner who was exploiting them both. Racism became the perfect wedge to drive between people who should have been allies. This isn't just ancient history, folks. The strategy is still in play today, just with updated software. Politicians and media outlets still use coded language to stir up racial tension. They create a boogeyman, immigrants, minorities, people from a different neighborhood, and blame them for society's problems. Losing your job? It's their fault. Crime is rising? Blame them. It's a classic move. By focusing our anger and fear on each other, we are distracted from the real issues, like corrupt policies, corporate greed, and a system that is failing everyone. They keep us fighting over the crumbs while they run off with the whole cake. It's a timeless and tragic trick. And here's the kicker. This division is incredibly profitable. A divided society is easier to exploit. Companies can pay lower wages when workers are afraid to unionize because they don't trust their colleagues of a different race. The private prison industry makes billions from a justice system that disproportionately targets minority communities. The media gets more clicks and views from stories that stoke outrage and fear. Hate is a business, and business is booming. Babylon created racism not just for power, but for profit. It's a self-perpetuating machine where division creates problems, and the solutions to those problems make the powerful even richer. Now, let's get into something a little deeper. Mental slavery. This sounds dramatic, I know, but it's a very real thing. Physical slavery is when someone owns your body. Mental slavery is when someone owns your mind. It's a state where you are trapped, not by physical chains, but by ideas and beliefs that have been planted in your head. These ideas are often ones of hate, jealousy, and division. The Babylon system is an expert at this. It doesn't need to lock you in a cell if it can convince you to build the prison walls inside your own mind. It's the most efficient form of control because you become your own jailer. Think about how this works. The system constantly bombards you with messages that tell you your worth is tied to what you have, how you look, or what group you belong to. It teaches you to be envious of your neighbor's new car, to be suspicious of people who look different, and to feel worthless if you don't meet some impossible standard of success. This creates a constant state of anxiety and dissatisfaction. You're always chasing something you don't have, or hating someone for something they are. This internal chaos keeps you weak and distracted. You're too busy fighting your own insecurities and prejudices to look up and see who is actually pulling the strings. This mental slavery is particularly powerful because it makes you police yourself and others. You start to believe the lies. You start to believe that your group is better, or that the other group is the source of all your problems. You become a willing participant in the system of division. When you see someone from a group you've been taught to dislike, you feel that flicker of anger or suspicion. That's the chain rattling. You're reacting exactly as the system wants you to. You're upholding the very divisions that keep you powerless. It's a psychological trap, and it's incredibly difficult to escape because you think these thoughts are your own. The ultimate goal of mental slavery is to prevent unity. A person trapped in this mindset can't form genuine connections with people who are different. They see the world in terms of us versus them. This is exactly what Babylon wants. A population that is fragmented and suspicious of one another will never be able to come together to demand real change. They'll be too busy fighting over scraps, arguing about who is to blame for their problems. Breaking free from mental slavery means recognizing that these thoughts of hate and division are not yours. They are foreign ideas that have been implanted in your mind to keep you controlled. So, you have a system that creates division and traps people in a state of mental slavery. What's the next step? You have to keep the fire going. You need to make sure people stay angry at each other, not at the system itself. This is done through a sophisticated and never-ending blame game. The architects of Babylon are masters at pointing fingers. They create a problem, like economic inequality or a lack of jobs, and then they expertly redirect the blame onto a convenient scapegoat. It's a simple, brutal, and highly effective strategy that has been used throughout history to maintain control and avoid accountability. It works like this. Let's say a factory closes down in a small town and hundreds of people lose their jobs. The real reason might be a corporation moving its operations overseas to exploit cheaper labor and make more profit. But that's a complicated story, and it points the finger at a powerful entity. Instead, the narrative gets twisted. Politicians and media outlets might start saying the jobs are gone because of immigrants who work for less, or it's because of new environmental regulations that are hurting business. Suddenly, the townspeople are not angry at the corporation. They're angry at their immigrant neighbors or at environmental activists. The real culprit gets away scot-free. This strategy plays directly into the mental slavery we talked about. It reinforces the prejudices that have already been planted in people's minds. It gives them a simple, emotional target for their frustration. It's much easier to hate a person you can see than a complex economic system you can't. This creates a toxic cycle of resentment. People start fighting their neighbors, their co-workers, and people in the next town over. They argue on social media, they protest against each other, and they vote based on fear and anger. All this energy is spent fighting horizontally against each other instead of being directed vertically at the powers that created the mess in the first place. The tragic part is that this infighting hurts everyone, including those who think they are on the winning side. A society riddled with hate and division cannot prosper. It leads to stress, violence, and a breakdown of community trust. Everyone is worse off. The schools are worse, the healthcare is worse, and the overall quality of life declines. The only ones who benefit are those at the very top, the ones who designed the game. They watch from their penthouses as the people below tear each other apart over issues that were custom-made to divide them. They maintain their power not by being strong, but by keeping everyone else weak and fighting amongst themselves. Another brilliant tool in Babylon's arsenal is materialism. This is the obsession with money and possessions. The system has done an incredible job of convincing us that our happiness and self-worth are directly tied to the stuff we own. You need the latest phone, the fanciest car, the designer clothes. Why? Because the system tells you that having these things means you've made it. It's a powerful message, and it turns us all into consumers, constantly chasing the next shiny object. This isn't just about selling products, it's about controlling our focus and our desires. It's a very comfortable and stylish prison. This focus on materialism works as a perfect trap, a golden cage. To get all this stuff, you need money. To get money, you need to work, often in a job you don't like, within the very system that is oppressing you. You become so busy working to afford the lifestyle you've been told you want that you have no time or energy left to question the system itself. You're trapped on a hamster wheel. Work, buy, consume, repeat. You might feel a sense of emptiness, but you're told the solution is to just buy more stuff. It's a distraction that keeps you compliant and too exhausted to think about bigger issues like justice or freedom. This consumer culture also reinforces the division we've been talking about. It creates new layers of jealousy and social competition. People start judging each other based on what they have. You're not just a person. You're the brand of car you drive or the neighborhood you live in. This creates even more separation. Instead of finding common ground, people are busy trying to one-up each other. It isolates us. We become so focused on our individual pursuit of wealth and status that we forget how to connect with others on a human level. We see our neighbors as competitors, not as potential allies in the struggle for a better world. Ultimately, materialism is a hollow promise. The happiness you get from buying something new is temporary. It fades quickly, leaving you wanting more. This is by design. The system needs you to be perpetually unsatisfied, so you'll keep consuming. It sells you an illusion of freedom, the freedom to buy whatever you want, while trapping you in a cycle of debt and desire. The real freedom is not the ability to buy more things, but the ability to be free from the desire for them. It's about realizing that your worth as a human being has nothing to do with your bank account or the logo on your shirt. That realization is a powerful key to unlocking the golden cage. Now we get to the darkest part of the Babylon system. It's not just about subtle manipulation and economic traps. Sometimes, the elites who run the show engage in truly evil actions behind the scenes to protect their power and wealth. These are not accidents or mistakes. They are carefully organized operations that harm innocent people. They see regular folks as nothing more than pawns on a chessboard, to be sacrificed whenever it serves their interests. This is where the corruption becomes deeply personal and deeply disturbing, often targeting the most vulnerable among us, including young women and girls who get caught in their webs. These hidden agendas can take many forms. It could be a powerful politician secretly working with corporations to pass laws that poison a community's water supply, all for profit. It could be intelligence agencies stirring up conflict in another country to secure access to resources. On a more sinister level, it involves networks of powerful individuals who use their influence to cover up heinous crimes, including the exploitation and trafficking of innocent people. They create systems where they are above the law, protected by their money and connections. They operate in the shadows, knowing that their positions of power give them a shield against accountability. The most infuriating part is how these actions are disguised. They are often hidden behind a mask of legitimacy or even charity. A powerful figure might be publicly known as a great philanthropist, donating millions to hospitals and schools, while privately engaging in monstrous activities. They use their public image as a shield. They create fake foundations or charities that are really just fronts for money laundering or other illegal operations. They wrap their corrupt deals in complicated legal jargon and pass them off as standard business practices or matters of national security. They are experts at making evil look boring and bureaucratic. This is the true face of Babylon. A system where the powerful can sacrifice the innocent without consequence. They create wars that kill thousands just to control an oil field. They ruin lives to protect their reputations. They see human beings not as people with hopes and dreams, but as collateral damage in their quest for more power and more wealth. These are not just storylines from a movie. These things happen. The evidence often comes out years later in leaked documents or whistleblower testimonies. It shows a level of cold, calculated cruelty that is hard for most decent people to even comprehend. It's a chilling reminder that the system isn't just broken, it's often intentionally malicious. So, after all this doom and gloom, what's the solution? It feels overwhelming, I know. We're talking about a massive global system of control. But the good news is, its greatest weakness is us. The entire system of Babylon, with all its power and money, relies on one thing: our participation. It only works if we remain asleep, if we stay divided, and if we keep playing by its rules. The moment we start to wake up, the whole thing starts to fall apart. The first and most important step is to open your eyes and see the system for what it is. It's about developing critical thinking. Waking up means you have to start questioning everything. When you see a news story designed to make you angry at a certain group of people, ask yourself, who benefits from me feeling this way? When you feel that urge to buy something you don't need, ask yourself, am I being told to want this? It's about recognizing the mental slavery. You must actively reject the thoughts of hate, jealousy, and division that the system plants in your mind. This is an internal battle first. You have to deprogram yourself from the constant messaging of Babylon. Start by connecting with people who are different from you. Listen to their stories. You'll quickly realize you have more in common than you think. This leads to the next crucial step: unity. Babylon's power comes from our division. Our power, therefore, comes from our unity. This is the system's greatest fear. Imagine if all the people who are struggling, the poor white farmer, the underpaid city worker, the immigrant family, the student drowning in debt, realized they were all being played by the same system. Imagine if they stopped fighting each other and instead stood together to demand change. The system couldn't handle it. Unity is the ultimate weapon against oppression. It starts small in our communities by building bridges instead of walls and showing solidarity with one another. Breaking free isn't about a violent revolution. It's about a revolution of consciousness. It's about withdrawing your consent and your energy from the system. Support local businesses instead of mega corporations. Spend less time consuming media that is designed to make you afraid and angry. Educate yourself and others, and most importantly, reclaim your mind. Understand that your value is not determined by your possessions or your social status. True freedom is an internal state of being. It's not easy, and it won't happen overnight. But it starts with a simple choice: the choice to wake up, to see the truth, and to stand together. Babylon looks powerful, but it's a house of cards, and we are the ones holding it up.